This video is going to review your day 3 rewrap. Now remember, on your treatment day, it was day 0. The next day is day 1, then day 2, then day 3. Typically, if you had this done, your treatment, assuming you had it done on Monday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night would be day 3 when you would change it. Or you could even do it in the morning of day 4. So either one is fine, okay? Now what you'll look like is something like this. Of course, you know what your wrap looks like. You're going to go in the shower, okay? Get everything wet, take a shower, do this last, take everything off nice and easy, okay? One part at a time, right? To start unraveling and so forth. It should come off pretty easy. Now, there are 2 items that might stick on, okay? Your toe pads that are located, remember, there's toe pads under here, under the bandage, and steps. But I certainly don't want you ripping this off and irritating the skin too much if it's on too tight, okay? Or sticking very well. So, let's assume everything is off, and we're back to this. No wrap at all, okay? Let's go through your steps. Now remember, I set the materials, I set them out, and you should do the same, have them ready in a sequential manner, all right, so you know you're sequencing, okay? Toe pads back on, right? If you were able to take them off, you'll put them back on. Where do they go? Right under the glands in the underside area. And you see how that looks? We place 2 on. Certain occasions we do place them in other areas, and we'll direct you if we need to do that. Some patients will have, like, you know, a bulging maybe a little bit over here, and I might have them put a couple of toe pads there to put extra pressure there to help straighten. But this is a standard day 3 wrap. So the second one goes on top of the first one, and there you have that, right? Step 3, your large band-aids, okay? Large band-aids, one goes on the top side, half on the shaft and half on the pubic area, okay? Assuming this is the pubic area here, right? The band-aid goes on half on the pubic, half on the shaft, and press down, make sure it sticks well. This is very important, very protective, these band-aids, okay? It's like a fabric type band-aid, so forth. Okay, so the next band-aid goes on the underside, on the bottom portion of the shaft, half on the shaft, half on the scrotum. So get that right in there like that, and press down and make sure it's flush. Make it stick as well as you can, okay? So there are your band-aids so far, your 2 large ones. We call this the little circular one, and these are your large ones, okay? Next step is take your triamcinolone. This is a prescription item you should have, right? Pick that up at the pharmacy. And you're going to spread it around on the visible skin. Put a few lines of it here, and then spread it around. You just need a thin coat. Spread it here on the shaft, all visible skin sites, and also on the glands, okay? Also a little bit on the scrotum. You could spread a little bit there, all right? Next step, take your brown stretch. Just in case you run out of materials, we usually supply a good amount. You could always get these materials at CVS or Walgreens. Take a good length of this. Now remember, if you're over 6 inches in erect length, you're going to overlap what? Remember we discussed this, 90%. Still mild tension, but we want more of an overlap to form like a cast effect, a thicker wrap, because the penis, when it swells, it might want to bend a little bit, okay? If it does bend anyway, because sometimes it bends no matter what, we have exercises we'll have you do, and we'll show you on the exercise video, okay? Now, of course, you start at the base, okay, as low as you can. Always go as low as you can and work your way around. Okay, let me start over. Try to get a good start. Now, I'm going to overlap quite a bit, like about 90% or so, okay? So 90% overlap. And you see as you're wrapping, the penis will kind of protrude out more and more as you're wrapping with tension. Okay, that's normal. And you start at the base, you continue around. That's a good 90% I got covered here, close to it. If you're not that long, you don't have to do 90%. But if you're not sure, overlapping more is not harmful. So you can. Just make sure you do it evenly. And make it look nice. If it looks orderly, you probably did it correctly. And you just keep on going around. Again, mild tension. Now I may instruct you otherwise, but this is again a standard wrap. Standard wrap for day 3. And you keep on working your way around. And of course you take your time. And notice I'm on the toe pads now. Now take a close look. On the front side, I'm already under the glands. I don't want to go on the glands. I want to stay under, okay? And by the way, if this material starts to irritate you, right? Sometimes it rubs and acts like a saw. You can put a little bit of blue, one coating of blue of this pre-wrap there, and then use this and go over it, just in case it irritates you here, okay? So let's continue around. Now notice I'm going to go here. Notice I'm not complete here. I've completed this side. So what I'll do is I'll continue around under the gland. Remember, the head of the penis is called the glans. G-L-A-N-S, glands. So go under the glands and then work your way up to cover that, and then come back down, and now you're covered. All right, we don't need this extra material, so let's get rid of that. If you notice, the material sticks on itself, but still yet I want you to put some white tape, paper tape here, okay, to secure it, right? Next step, if you notice when you were putting this on, as you kept on going around to the front, there's probably a gap that formed here. Okay, you'll see a gap here. All right, even if you don't see it, you're still going to do this step. You're going to take a short length of this blue, and you're going to go to the base area and go around 2 or 3 times. And when you go around, now watch me, the next turn is going to go underneath that turn. See how I'm going underneath? And underneath that turn. Okay? And then just whatever's left over, wind it around, get a piece of tape there. Okay? And there we have it. Now, the blue is on. And now you have like 2 components here. You have the brown and you have this blue at the base. What we want to do next is connect the 2. We want to put some brown here from starting at this point to cover the blue and work our way up halfway. That connects the 2. That's very important. So we're going to take another length of brown, not as much. That should be enough. We're going to start as low as we can, but leaving a little blue edge. Let me show you this here. Notice what you see here. I covered most of the blue, but there's a blue edge visible. That's what you want. Because if this goes lower, it's going to dig into the skin and irritate it too much, okay? So let's work our way around. What's the tension? Mild tension, okay? I'm going to go our way around like this, okay? And we're going to continue. Same overlap, roughly. This doesn't have to actually be 90%. It could be 70 or 60. It's just to connect the blue to the original brown that we placed first, okay? So we're going to go around like this. And we're about halfway, right? And that's it. So I don't need any more of this. So we went halfway. We're going to take some white paper tape. Let's secure that, okay? So that's where we're at so far, what we're up to. Now the next step, remember your half folds. The half fold is going to be one under here and one down here. Okay, let's put the first one under here, under the glans, okay? Now, there's 2 half folds, and we reviewed this on your day 0 wrap video, but I'm going to review this again. There's either a swoop or a non-swoop method that we use in this area. Okay, so if we say to you, you're going to use a non-swoop half fold, that means the half fold gets placed under the glans, not on the glans, under. Okay. If you see here, under the glans, right, and you go around, and you come under the glans, not on the glans, so you go around twice, okay, and that's it, okay. That's how it'll look. If I say we're going to use a swoop half fold, that is this. The half fold actually starts half on the glans and half on the shaft, just like that, okay. There's half of it is on the glans, half on the shaft. As we go around, I'm going to what? Swoop down and then come back up. Go on the same area in the front. And then I'm going to come around to the back and swoop a little less. Notice I'm overlapping on the half fold as I go around. Come around to the front, same area. And then swoop less. Come up a little higher here, okay? You notice I got this whole area covered with tension. And over here, it's just this area that has the tension, okay? So we did it. We did a swoop method. We just dropped the rest down here and put a piece of tape. Let's take a look at this closely. This is to secure that. So the swoop method, what? Started a little bit on the glands, on the shaft, both. And we came around and we swooped low, came back up high, swooped a little less, came back up high, and swooped to cover this whole area that's very wide over here. And there's a reason why we use a swoop or non-swoop. It depends on the type of support you need under the glands, and I make that decision on your treatment day. So you're either going to get a swoop or a non-swoop. So here's an example of a swoop, okay? So you know how to do it. Now the next step is your barrier that you need at the base. Remember, your barrier for the first 7 days is going to be this half fold and rubber band, right? So since it's day 3, you're going to continue with this barrier. And what you do is you go as low as you can. Go as low as you can. Now, if you're going to go below this blue, you can always add a little blue just in case for comfort. Okay, but go as low as you can on the base with what type of tension? Do you remember? Moderate tension. This is the only thing you're placing on with moderate tension. Everything else is mild tension. Mild is a light grip. Think of mild as a light gripping tension. Moderate is just a step increase in tension or pressure, a little more of a grip, right? So half fold goes on, goes around. As you can see, I usually go around 2 times, no more. And that's it. I'm just going to put a piece of paper tape to secure that. And I'll show you how this looks here. You see how we go as low as you can, basically almost on the pubic skin, right? You're butting the pubic area. You're going around here, right onto the scrotal area, just about, touching that, okay? And that's your half fold with moderate tension. Last step, which is very important, is the other part of your barrier. This is rubber band. You know this from the first video, we showed you this. This is 2 rubber bands looped together. You just take 1 loop and drop it down, okay? Drop it down like that. And make sure it's kind of on the low side here, right? Make sure this is as low as you can get it without it sliding onto the skin. So that's basically how it's going to look. Take a close look at that, okay? Remember, the loop goes toward the scrotal side. And we talked about why we need a loop here. The loop helps you take this off during your rubber band breaks. Because remember, you have to take rubber band breaks every few hours, right? Let's say breakfast, lunch, and dinner time. You got to take at least a 15-minute break, right? 15 minutes, and you put it back on. But the purpose of the loop is to help take this off. And it stays off for 15 minutes, and then you put it back on, okay? Now, another reason why this loop's important is that if you have to urinate, you have to go to the bathroom, by pulling on this, releases pressure in this area. That's where the urine will come out in this zone. So this helps release some tension so you can urinate more freely or easily, okay? So this is your day 3 wrap. This stays on until day 7, okay? This stays on until day 7. Now, just in case, if on day 4 or 5, for whatever reason, or day 6 you have to change it, you go to this video, day 3 video wrap, and you put this wrap on, okay? When we get to day 7, the wrap is going to change, okay? The key to day 7, and we'll have a separate video on this, and you're going to watch this subsequent to this, the barrier changes. Everything else stays the same. The barrier is not going to be your rubber band and half fold, okay? It's going to be something else, and we'll discuss that on the day 7 wrap video, okay? So that concludes this discussion, and we'll move on to the next wrap video.